Welcome back to Time and Date. We have been watching a total solar eclipse live from Western Australia. We are into the second partial phase. The moon is slowly moving off the face of the sun, and this eclipse has about another 50 minutes or so to run. Now, for the past few eclipses, Time and Date has been delighted to be collaborating with NASA on their eclipse live shows, and they've been using our images and telescope feeds as part of their programming. For this eclipse, they had a live show featuring the sun expert, Dr. Kelly Korek. And we are delighted to say that just having finished her show with NASA, Kelly is now going to be joining us here on Time and Date.
Hi, Graham.
There we go. Excellent. Great. And hey, thank you very much for joining us, Kelly. So Kelly is a heliophysicist, and she is NASA's program manager for eclipses. So I think, Kelly, the first question we need to ask is what is a heliophysicist?
Yeah, thanks, Graham. Yes, a heliophysicist is a physicist that studies helio, or the sun. So we study all of the effects of the sun on the Earth, as well as all of the things that that our sun does. So things like the solar flares and prominences and these eclipses, as well as things on Earth, and the magnetosphere and the ionosphere and our atmosphere. Those are all things that heliophysicists study.
Yeah, and this is kind of a big year for heliophysics.
It is a very big year. So we are all about to have a very big year from 2023. We're going to start just around October, around the annular eclipse, and run through the total solar eclipse that happens April 8th, 2024, and then through December 2024, when Parker Solar Probe makes its closest approach to the sun. It gets 96% of the way to the sun from the Earth. So this big year is actually a concept that comes from citizen science birding. And their big year means that I want to see as many species as birds in that 1 year to have a big year. And so for us, we're challenging folks to have as many different sun experiences as you can in that 1 year. So the annular eclipse, a total eclipse, could you see aurora? What about learning about solar flares? What about learning about the effect of sun on your emotion, or how you use it in growing crops and food? So we really want everyone to have a big year with the sun from 23 to 24.
That's cool.
And you've just finished, you're all warmed up here, I can tell, because you've just finished your live show with NASA. How did it go?
Oh, the live show was incredible. There was great banter and amazing questions from the audience and audience participation. And of course, the star of the show, our sun, and the total eclipse and the Time and Date feed was just amazing to sit there and watch the prominence develop, and then all of a sudden to see totality, and it was amazing.
That's nice to hear. We've worked hard for those images. And what was your favorite question? What was one of the exciting questions that you got?
So I think one of my favorite questions was something that I just hadn't thought about, is how common are lunar eclipses more common than solar eclipses? And, I hadn't thought about it. But it was great to also be able to then have a phone a friend. We had some other colleagues in the background making sure that we could have some fact checks there, because my sense was that, it does seem like there was more, lunar eclipses, or you hear about more people being able to see them. And they were able to get some information about the fact that, yes, actually, there's more likelihood to see it because a larger swath of the Earth can see a lunar eclipse, but they actually happen happen just about the same amount as a solar eclipse and normally happen in pairs, about either 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after a solar eclipse. So it was just a very interesting question to also test my, sensibilities of like, oh, how do I figure this out? And sometimes, even a scientist needs to phone a friend to be like, hey, you know the answer?
Oh, this is true.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, well, we've been enjoying some great images today. We've had sunspots, prominences, the corona. I mean, so much to see. Was there a particular highlight for you today, Kelly?
Definitely. I think there was that little prominence in the lower left-hand corner of the feed that stuck out early as the moon made contact and was there the entire time. And then once you got to totality, you kind of saw all the things that were around it, that it was sticking out there, but there were so many other things around it that were also dancing and moving, and all this plasma and gas is constantly moving on the sun. And to see that was just was my favorite part. It was the part I was rooting for.
Yeah, we were enjoying that bit too. At one point, it looked like it was just flying in thin air, that prominence on the feed.
Definitely.
And yeah, you were mentioning 2023, 2024, big year for the sun. We've got 2 massive eclipses coming up. There's an annular solar eclipse going across the US in October, and then another one in less than a year from now in April, a total solar eclipse there going across the US. So what are NASA's plans for these eclipses?
NASA has a lot of plans for both eclipses, and priority is job one is our number one priority. So safety is our number one priority,
Mm.
and our what our main message is about having the safe viewing ability.
Mm.
So you need glasses for the entire time
Mm.
for the solar eclipse, or an indirect viewing method, meaning your back is to the
Mm.
sun and you're looking at either a colander or a pinhole or a serial box. There's a lot of different ways to make some pinholes in order to view it indirectly. And so for the annular safety at all times. And then during the total, we want you to keep your glasses on except for totality. And then we want you to experience that corona, that amazing time, especially as we get to solar maximum. There was so much activity and so many different things that popped up as we got to totality. And it should be even more active in the next year. So it'll be really interesting to see that. Other priorities that NASA has is really broadening participation, is that letting everyone know that they belong here, belong to learning about the sun, belonging in science, belonging to these amazing experiences. And you don't have to be a full-fledged PhD scientist to appreciate this and to really belong in it. So we really want to broaden that participation. We will be doing a lot of science here too. There was a kite experiment that was flown in Australia that we're anxiously looking for the data from, and we're hoping to do other science experiments in 23 and 24, like launching a rocket to test the ionosphere, a layer of the atmosphere of the Earth, and how it reacts to eclipses. So we're going to send off a couple of those 3 rockets into each eclipse to study that.
Wow.
So lots of science, lots of fun and interesting things. We're also engaging the public in terms of places to view and educational outreach activities. There are things like ballooning events, citizen science projects folks can get involved in, like eclipse soundscapes. There's a lot of different things that NASA's planning for these 2 eclipses.
Oh, it all sounds really exciting. I want to be a part of one of these experiences. Well, we're going to be in the US for it, so maybe we can catch up. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us here on the show. It's been a pleasure having you, and you get to go to bed now.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And we're already deep into planning for our annular solar eclipse in October. We are going to Roswell, New Mexico to be live streaming that. And for that one, we're going to be on the ground. So we're excited about that, aren't we, Graham? Go to timeanddate.live. There's loads more info there about this eclipse, other eclipses, behind the scenes, all the fun stuff happening on social media. So go there and check it out. But we still have a little bit of eclipse left. So we're going to be here for a while more. And we'll see you soon. Welcome back. I'm Anna Buckle. This is Graham Jones. We're still watching a total solar eclipse, but we're inching towards the end of it. The moon's disk is moving off the surface of the sun, and we have a replay. We're very excited about this. It's the MIT NASA Eclipse Expeditions feed that we're just going to show you from start to finish, and we will talk you through it. So, okay, Gustav, you can start it now so we can see what it looks like. Oh, and there you have it. That's already there, the diamond ring effect, right?
Yeah. So this is as now we're just moments away from totality here. The filter has come off the telescope, so the bit of the the crescent sun that is still visible is super bright
Mm.
there. We're starting to see the solar corona around the edge of the moon, and this is heading towards the diamond ring effect. We've sort of got this ring around the moon of the solar corona, and that final bit of the visible sun is shining like a jewel. We move swiftly from the diamond ring into Bailey's beads. That bright jewel starts to break up into blobs, and as the final one of those blobs disappears, this is now the start of totality. Now the full splendor of the solar corona comes into view. We can still see those wonderful prominences in the sort of the top right edge of the sun, and this is 1 minute of totality.
And it looks pretty amazing. And when we were in Argentina, the corona looked a bit more stretched out, like wings, but this one was a bit rounder, wasn't it?
Right. The shape of the solar corona does change over the course of an 11-year solar cycle. The totality we saw in 2019 in Argentina was near solar minimum, and the solar corona was rather stretched out like wings. Today, it's a lot more symmetrical. It's a lot rounder. That's our minute done. We are coming back to Bailey's beads, these blobs of light appearing in that bottom right corner, and they're now merging together to again form this jewel of light, the diamond ring with the solar corona around the edge of the moon there. Now the bright crescent sun comes back. The solar corona disappears. That's the last time we'll see the solar corona from Earth until the next total solar eclipse.
April 8th, 2024.
April the 8th next year. That's correct. So that was the very brief 1 minute of totality of this April 20th, 2023 total solar eclipse.
Because next year it's going to be much longer, the totality, right?
That's right. So next year we're up to over 4 minutes of totality. That's one of the reasons for that is that the moon is closer to the Earth, bigger in the sky, and can cover the sun for longer.
There you go. And we've moved into this zoomed in image of the sun. We've got some sunspots, we've got some prominences, so we're really getting to study them here.
That's right. This is a great shot here showing a partially eclipsed sun with those sunspot features in the center, and some nice prominences around the edge of the sun's disk.
And Pac-Man eating us in the corner there.
Exactly.
And that's it from us for now. We will be back very soon. Check out timeanddate.live for more information about eclipses and about this eclipse and other interesting pictures behind the scenes, all the fun stuff you can find there. And we will see you soon.